Hey everyone, it's Matt here, and today we're doing a bit of a different kind of Game Time mini. So normally we actually end up having these script out, but when it comes to this one, I wanted to talk about it right away. So today we're actually going to be reviewing Kirby's Dream Buffet. And I was so hyped when I first heard about this. I thought, I would love to play it, but it's probably going to be a bit too expensive. It's not going to be free, definitely, but it definitely will probably be like $40 to $60, and I knew I just didn't have that kind of cash to drop for a game that looks promising, looked cute, but I just didn't really have as much hope for it for that price. So when I saw that it ended up only being $15, I immediately pre-ordered it, and I knew that I had to play it on day one. But then life happened. But I still ended up playing it in August, and I was like, I want to do a review of this, and, we could write it out, and definitely not do, like, skits or anything, but at least write it out and record it, and then life happened. There's a theme in this video. But, I thought, hey, I'll still try to put that video out in September because October is spooky month, and once October starts, I want to get spooky. But then, say it with me, everybody, life happened. Damn it, I had Life Finds a Way right there, and I didn't grab it. Why didn't I grab it? Because life... Okay, look, all jokes aside, things get busy. Things got busy around here. So thankfully, even though it is October, we're going to be getting this and another video that I have planned for this channel out of the way before getting spooky. But first, indulge me in some cuteness that is Kirby's Dream Buffet. So if you haven't heard about this game at all, it's basically Kirby meets Fall Guys. But it's only $15, and Fall Guys, I've heard sometimes it's been free. I've heard some people say that there's free trials or free moments, but it is usually $20. And when it comes to Kirby's Dream Buffet, while I haven't played Fall Guys, I've seen gameplay of it. It very much is the Kirby version of said game. But if you're not familiar with either one, if you're not familiar with Kirby, I'd be very interested to hear that down below. But if you're not familiar with Fall Guys, basically it is a game where you can meet up with 4 different people virtually on the internet, ooh, spooky, and have different matchups where you race each other in different ways, and it's really cute and blocky and whatnot. And in this case, you can be one of 4 different Kirbys. You also have costumes and stuff, which we'll get to in just a bit, but you can basically be Kirby and do different races. Now, there are different modes though. There's a race mode, there's a mini game mode, there's a kind of a battle mode, and then there's a Grand Prix, and Grand Prix basically combines all of those. Now, what I find interesting about this game is when you first start it up, the entire world is just adorable as hell. You have a hub right here where you can do different things right off the bat. You actually have a glossary of different games from the series, although funnily enough, it doesn't go back to the beginning, so I was kind of sitting there like, what about the Kirby that I remember? Because I'm 30. But when it comes to this giant cake here, you can actually put different little, and references, by the way, throughout the series, different kind of ingredients on top of the cake. And you can see here the different cakes that I've had throughout the time that I've been playing this game. And it is absolutely adorable. I never thought I would say at 30 years old that I love making a Kirbified cake, a Kirby cake, yet here I am doing it just the same. There is a free range mode. Here's the issue with it though, and it's actually, I hate this mode so much, and I'll explain why. How can I hate something that looks so cute? Well, here's the thing. So I thought that I could use these strawberries to essentially level up, because that's what you end up doing. You can get strawberries throughout levels, and they end up, or different races, and they help you level up. Leveling up is important because leveling up allows you to buy more things in the store. And allowing you to buy more things in the store means you can get costumes and, of course, things for your cake as well, and different musical tracks and whatnot. But here's the issue. Any of the strawberries that you get in this free range mode don't actually do anything. It's just there to train you so that you know how to like move around in the game itself. So if you want some experience moving around in the game without losing either in person or online or against a computer, you can use this mode. And also it shows different power-ups you can get throughout the different races, which is pretty cool. But at the same time though, it's not actually doing anything. So if you're really spending a lot of time trying to get all these strawberries, I gotta get all these like I did, you're not really doing anything. It's cool, and it's a great way to try to be precise, especially during gameplay, which you're going to need, especially when you're playing on harder difficulties. But it's still not really worth it. So go into it for a little bit, have a little bit of fun, but don't be in there for like 20 minutes like I was, because it doesn't really amount to anything. Now I mentioned up to 1 to 4 players. Now most likely you're going to be doing this online, and when it comes to the servers, I wasn't the biggest fan of playing online. I was always a little bit lagged, a little bit delayed, and some people would end up dropping. The waiting room is really cute. You can actually say hi to each other, and I really do enjoy that. But when it comes to playing online, I wasn't able to. None of my friends ended up buying the game, so I really wasn't able to play with them. But when it comes to playing with other people, I don't know if it's a Nintendo thing or if it's a me thing, because even though I'm in New York, that doesn't mean that all of the internet, like the server, like just the Wi-Fi and everything is perfect. I usually will have problems, so this to me is just an extension of that. I've had problems playing with friends as well with the Switch, and even other games online as well, so for other consoles. So personally, online, while you do get more strawberries, or rather you do get more experience to level up online, strawberries kind of convert to experience basically, but it still doesn't really do much for me. So personally, I'm actually not a big fan of the online, even though it is a part of the gameplay, although thankfully you don't get any like trophies or stuff by being online. And when you go online, you're basically playing Grand Prix online, which again is a combination of every mode in the game. What is pretty cool as well though is initially I was under the impression that the stages were, obviously I couldn't choose the stages, so you can't choose them, but I was under the impression that these were the only ones that we were going to get, and I was kind of like, really? You only have, they're cute, I love them, but this is all we're gonna get? But actually, as you level up, more stages do become unlocked. But again, you can't choose the stages, which does suck. I mean, you can choose them in Mario Kart, why can't you choose them here? I understand maybe not initially, but at a certain point, when you have different kinds of stages, it would make sense to be able to choose them and have your preferred stage, especially if you're playing single player like I am, one against a bunch of computers. Why would you not do that? Also, when they say that there's hard modes in here, and there's, more increasing levels of difficulty, they're not kidding. I mastered the easier modes, and I was like, wow, I'm so good at this. I guess I'll just be a little bit harder. Maybe it'll make me break a sweat. And then I was fighting for my life. So I would definitely say that you might think that you're good, but then when you're online with people or you're in harder modes, it actually does increase the difficulty in a way that I found very interesting. I thought that this was going to be a game that was just going to be extremely casual in many respects, but no, actually it does decrease the difficulty very much. Now, when it comes to the races, I do think that, again, if you're on the easier difficulties, you can master some of these stages pretty well. They do have a bunch of other obstacles and stuff in the way. It's not just moving with Kirby and that's it. You have to, at certain points, break certain barriers down, like cookie barriers. You do have to make sure that you don't get in either some syrup or stuff like that trying to stop you. Also, there are enemies as well throughout the level, but the power-ups will definitely help you. Some of them you can actually save in the last moment just to end up zooming past, very much like Mario Kart. And depending on which cake you choose, you actually get more strawberries at the end of the level or at the end of the race, and then in doing so, of course, will be fatter at the end. Look at these cute little guys. And that can change, it can even change up the race, by the way, depending on what you did during the race. Can actually help make you go from like third or fourth even to first or second. And what's really cool when it comes to the Grand Prix, just like any other racing game, even if you're not first at first, you can come from behind, and I've done that multiple times to win the entire thing. Now, when it comes to mini games, I'm not the biggest fan personally, but I really like the Battle Royale mode. I said Battle Mode earlier, but the Battle Royale mode is actually the one that I'm the most interested in, because it very much reminds me of Crash Bash, if anyone remembers that, and having all of these characters fight each other, these different Kirbys fight each other, is actually really fun. And you can definitely change the game really quickly, even if you just kind of bow out and just try to do your own thing on the side over here, like I'm doing with the strawberries. You can actually end up turning the tide way more than actually going up against everyone. So sometimes it's actually encouraged that you end up going after one person over another, in case you might see that they're slowly creeping and getting more strawberries. So there is some strategy there, and it's not something that I would have thought I would have seen in a game like this. Wow, I almost forgot to mention mini games, and the reason why is because they are my least least favorite mode. So when you look at Battle Royale, there's a certain energy there that I really enjoy going up against each other, you know, trying to get different power-ups and whatnot. But when it comes to minigames, because you have to follow these different instructions and go from one area to another just to get the strawberries, it very much feels like a race to, it's funny, a race to the finish, but of course the races are that. But still, the layout of the races are really fun to me, whereas the layout for the minigames are just too small and cramped, and I'm not a big fan of them. So definitely when it comes to doing those in Grand Prix, not a fan. But when it comes to the Battle Royales, regardless, they definitely weren't my favorite at first, and even now I still prefer the races more, but it's really neck and neck, because Battle Royale is just the energy that is in them, especially, you know, the different power-ups and whatnot, and them dropping a bunch of strawberries and all of these other obstacles and stuff. They are much more fun, in my opinion, than the mini-games. Don't like following instructions, apparently. Any of the costumes, I mentioned costumes before, and God, look at all these costumes. My Kirby is so cute. Do not talk about my Kirby negatively, all right? Don't. So I love this little guy. So when you look at all these different costumes and whatnot, all of them are cosmetic. None of them are going to make you faster or slower, which I enjoy. Also different colors of Kirby's, and God, there's just all of these costumes. I will admit, having some of them level locked is a little bit confusing to me, but of course they want to make sure they're playing the game for more than just 5 minutes, getting the Kirby you want and then bouncing. So understandably, yeah, it does make sense that they're trying to lock certain costumes behind levels, and I'm just very happy that there's no currency that you can put into the game to get you to unlock these costumes faster. So is this Game of the Year material? In my opinion, no, but frankly, it doesn't have to be. When you look at its price, and you look at how fun it is, and how these different modes just come together, especially in the Grand Prix, I think it's awesome. I'm going to try to get some friends of mine to buy it because I would love to play it with them, because while I do think that you can get a lot out of this in single player mode, eventually, you know, it can get a little repetitive. I do think taking breaks will probably be better than just kind of trying to zoom through it and, you know, get a bunch of experience and try to level up a bunch. But at the same time, though, I will say that, especially when you go online, it can definitely, and play on harder difficulties, it can definitely be very easy to level up. So it's not as if you're just playing it single player by yourself, like I was, it's not as if you're going to be left in the cold. So I think it's both good for anyone who wants a single player experience or for a multiplayer experience, but it definitely, of course, just by nature of the game, is built for a multiplayer experience. So either way, though, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe, and if you don't like the video, you can still like and subscribe either way. And I, again, definitely recommend this game, even with some of its shortcomings. I still think it's fun. If you like this game, please comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, and if you don't, I'd still like to hear your thoughts about it, but let's be chill, because let's not make this guy a little sad. Look at him. We don't want to make him sad. He's adorable, and we love him. Love this dude. And I love you all as well. So hopefully y'all take care and tune in next time for something completely different. Alright everybody, so I'll see ya.